Are you recording?
Yeah.
Top 10 Beatles. That's a rhinoceros beetle. That's John Lennon.
So 2 rhinoceros.
Number 10, Ringo Starr. He's not talented. He's not funny.
He's ugly too.
He's ugly. Look at him. This is fake,
Ringo.
but it's a funny meme. The reporter says, is Ringo the best drummer in the world? And John says Ringo isn't even the best drummer in the Beatles. In reality, John didn't say that. I mean, I'm vaccinated. In reality,
None of us have.
I'm vaccinated. It's okay.
It's fine.
So, yeah, in reality, John didn't say that. It was not a reporter. It was some journalist or whatever. But somebody put it into a meme format. It's funny. He's very mean, and he didn't think his original name was like cool enough for him. So he made a new name.
Richard Starr.
He does put his feet on Twitter. I didn't want to put it here because it's like gross, but he put a picture of his feet on Twitter, and he's like old, and his feet are all like crusty and gross, and he was like toes out Tuesday, and it was gross. He's very mean. If you approach him in public, he will yell at you. He's done this ever since like he first got famous. I mean, I guess it's hard for him because he's like been famous his whole life and hasn't been able to be like a normal person or whatever, but like he's a millionaire, come on, be nicer. And he doesn't sign autographs or anything anymore because he caught one person selling an autographed plate that they ripped off of a guitar that he signed. So he made this whole big deal out of it. He made this video like, after this day, I will not be signing autographs anymore. That's what I look like, Kaden. I don't know that. You guys aren't supposed to see that yet.
Satan.
How do I go back?
No, you got it on the keyboard. On the
Keyboard.
keyboard. Yeah. There you go.
He was like, I will not be signing autographs anymore. Peace and love. I should have put that there. He always says peace and love.
That's where H3 got it from.
Wait, really?
Yeah, Ethan said he was like, I got it from Ringo Starr.
Well, yeah, because he said that all the time and he puts like a bunch of emojis. It's like peace and I gotta show you one of his Instagram posts. It's so funny. He can't sing. I mean, like, he's kind of good, like Yellow Submarine, Octopus's Garden, whatever. Okay, he wrote those, but if you listen to like him actually sing, he's like not good. And especially like these days, he's not good. I mean, Paul is still like kind of good. I get it. They're like over 80 years old. But like, if Paul is still good, Ringo, come on, get some singing lessons, man. And his drawings, have you seen his art? He literally like scribbles on a page and sells it for like millions of dollars. Because he's like, I'm Ringo Starr, I can draw a dick. And sell it for millions of dollars. Because I'm Ringo Starr. Okay. Satan.
Next slide.
Legend has it that when the Beatles were still like in high school, because they formed in like high school, they weren't getting the popularity that John Lennon wanted them to get. So he went to this bridge. I went all the way to this bridge in Google Maps to take this picture for you guys. And so this is the bridge. He went there at like midnight or 3 a.m. or whatever, some spooky time. And he was like, Satan, please come. And Satan was like, sup, bro? And so he went. He sold his soul to Satan, and Satan was like, all right, I'll give you all the fame in the world. Everyone will remember you forever, but I'm going to have to kill you in 20 years. And John was like, chill. Good deal. Good deal. Sounds bomb. And here they are sacrificing Ringo. And John says, thank you to Satan. And Satan says, no problem, dude. Look at his washboard in the house. Satan.
Washboard.
Washboard.
Yeah. And if Satan, I mean, listen, hear me out. If Satan wrote all the Beatles songs, I mean, he's got talent. Like, Satan's like talented. Okay?
I see your
And that explains like the girls. Like, remember in the beginning, like there was all those girls that were like literally like pushing over policemen to like get to the Beatles. That's because they were hypnotized by Satan. Guys, open your eyes.
Open your eyes. You are so right.
And so 20 years later, you know, the Beatles got all that fame, and John was really mean to religious people, and 20 years later, that guy came and shot him, and he had a copy of Catcher in the Rye. That's one thing. If you give somebody, I saw an Eric Andre skit, and he was like, oh, if you leave a copy of Catcher in the Rye next to somebody who's sleeping on a bus, the cops will just think they're crazy.
True.
Yeah. Just leave a copy of. Okay, next one.
Do that to Aiden.
he would actually start reading it.
He would.
He was in this class.
Wait, he was in music theory?
Yeah. barber.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Aiden Malamphy, are you kidding?
Why did you
Malamphy
what
really
happened? Why
can't
did you
do that.
Because he couldn't handle the heat.
He couldn't.
I couldn't handle the heat either.
But he got out the kitchen.
I'm not taking a test.
He took weightlifting instead.
The Beatles, the Mupples, Paul, fake Paul. So y'all know like Paul is dead or whatever. It started like here in like Abbey Road. People were like, "Oh my God, Paul is dead because he's stepping with a different leg and he's barefoot." And they represent a funeral procession. And they took like here like the car in the back. They say that this black car is a hearse, and they say it stands for Linda McCartney weeps. 28 if Paul would be 28 if he were alive. The thing is, he's not dead. People are just crazy. John Lennon referenced it in the song Glass Onion, where he's really mean to everybody, like always.
Yeah.
He's a jerk.
Are they all jerks?
So true, bestie.
No, George and Paul are not jerks.
Nah,
Wait
they
till the
cool.
end of the slide. Jesus.
Spoilers!
Spoiler alert for the presentation.
And in Helter Skelter, if you reverse it, people said that John says Paul is dead man. And in Revolution 9, people say that if you reverse it, it says turn me on dead man, which is like, if you reverse everything.
It's gonna sound
In the Pokemon theme song, people were saying that if you reverse the Pokemon theme song, it says, "Oh, I love Satan, I love Satan," which like, honestly, yeah, I do love Satan.
He made them.
It's all, did you see it?
Guys, Satan already has a boyfriend. Satan has a boyfriend, and it's Lil Nas X. Like,
True.
In Strawberry Fields, there's this part where like John whispers and everybody was like, "Oh my God, he says I buried Paul." He actually said cranberry sauce.
Right.
So I mean, cranberry sauce kind of sucks. The cartoon.
I hated it.
The cartoon. You didn't like the cartoon?
No.
I mean, it's funny. Like, it's not supposed to be good. It's
Not
it's,
supposed
like,
to be
bad.
good.
This
They
one
did a
I
good job at
got
that.
Locked on the school Wi-Fi. It's so funny. There's like this little Norwegian boy, and he's like, "I want to be a Beatle," and the Beatles are like, "Oh, we gotta get out of here," because they're scared of this like chubby little boy that like admires them.
oh my God.
It's really bad, but it's funny because it's like terrible. I wish I could show it to you guys. Just look it up. Just look up. Oh my God, I had to look a while to find this one. Look up the Norwegian boy episode.
Okay.
You got it.
We'll do that.
At first the
right away.
Beatles didn't like it. The Beatles!
The Beatles!
At first they didn't like it because they thought it was dumb, but then they started to appreciate it because it was dumb. John Lennon, number 6. He did have a major role in the Beatles. He was like the main writer aside from like Paul, and he was like really good at like making music or whatever.
Yeah.
He was really mean, very pretentious and mean, especially to Paul. Paul would be like, "Oh my God, look, I wrote this song," and he'd be like, "That's not deep enough.
Oh,
It doesn't have any meaning."
he's so like.
Like when he wrote Obla Di Obla Da,
the best Beatle.
I think it was Obla Di Obla Da.
Yeah.
John called it granny music. He was like, "That's granny music," and Paul is like, "Let me make songs about the things that are not war."
Yeah.
And like John made Revolution 9, which like, have you heard it? It's basically just like 8 minutes of like number 9, number 9,
Wow.
number 9.
No
Like,
wonder people like the Beatles so much.
okay.
I
Yeah.
love
What was I gonna say something else. Oh yeah, Paul wrote a song. I don't remember if this is true or not, but I remember thinking this, that when he was in Wings, he wrote Silly Love Songs. And it was a song called Silly Love Songs. And I remember thinking that it was a diss to John, because John would like always make fun of like, "Oh, this is just a stupid love song. One of your stupid love songs." And then in the song, Paul says, "What's wrong with that? What's wrong with writing silly love songs? Everyone likes them." And yeah, you could be happy. And he was really racist and like rude. He wrote a song called "Woman is the N-word of the world," but he didn't shorten the N-word. And here's a video. No.
How do I know.
I know this one works.
Oh.
You gotta like hold it like on your like press with your finger and like hold it down for a second. Okay.
Just.
Okay, or not. I lied.
Well, in this video, he makes fun of disabled people.
Yeah, not good.
Oh,
was when they were teenagers.
It was when they were teenagers, but like still like Paul was like, okay, everybody, I want you to stomp your feet and clap your hands, because he was like engaging with the audience. And John started like saying what Paul was saying, but like in like making fun of like disabled people, like in like a really like you know, like offensive tone, and he was like, it was just bad. And this one is him in the studio yelling at Yoko Ono, who's also yelling at him.
I can't watch it.
Every time I watch it,
John! She just screams John. She just, the entire tour.
and he's like, yes, honey, anything for you, Yoko.
Oh my god, no.
I'm so loud. The orange.
Yay!
If maybe you're a rich man, John had the idea to play the keyboard with an orange. John was high. The orange was not high. I mean, he was kind of talented. I wish I could. I don't understand why it doesn't work. I want to play it.
It will work, you just have to hit it the right way. Or maybe you have to exit this full screen.
Doesn't matter. It's okay. Go listen to Maybe You're a Rich Man. When you hear that thing on the keyboard, that's the orange.
The star.
George Harrison. He looks like Mr. Peterson. I told Mr. Peterson. I know he does. I told Mr. Peterson, because I had a freshman year. I said, Mr. Peterson, you look like George Harrison, and he said, who's that? And I was like, are you kidding me?
Oh.
Grew up with. You're like in that age range to like know about.
He's
Whatever.
like rich. Why is he playing a Gretsch?
Oh my god, Hayden Morris.
Caden, the man, enjoys his guitar.
I mean, like he
It's like a
like,
Japanese guitar.
Is this Kevin Hart?
is that Kevin Hart?
I know it's Marvin. I have another funny picture of him. Hold on.
Okay, so George died of cancer in 2001, but he was like really talented, and like he made a lot of good songs, and he my favorite, I know that's probably like a basic choice, but in the Beatles he wrote While My Guitar Gently Weeps. People always say they're like, oh, he's the quiet one, he's quiet and mysterious. I think he's just like introspective, he just like thinks before he says things, you know? Like he'll, like all the other Beatles, because especially when they were teenagers, they were really talkative, especially Paul, who was like the spokesperson for the Beatles. And George would just kind of sit there. George was just kind of
Too much to ask.
you know, but he thinks, and he's very smart, and I like him, and he spent a lot of time in India, and he worked with a lot of charities, and the Hare Krishnas turned out to be like a cult, but like whatever.
But it's okay. It happens to
Yoko Ono took his cookies, his hobnobs, his digestive biscuits.
My
And
stepdad eats those.
Oh, I love those, they're so good. Like, I can understand why he was furious with her. He literally was yelling at her. He was like, you are disrespectful, that was my last cookie. Like, I get it. I mean, I get it.
I understand the
I have
The
the
juice boxes! As a promotion for the animated film Yellow Submarine, they released these Beatles juice boxes. Now, they are collector's items. If you have one, don't drink it, you'll get sick. They're from like the 80s. You should sell them because they're worth a lot. Mango Star, George Harrison, John Lennon, Apple McCartney.
Those
Proof.
are clever.
Proof that the Beatles are fruity.
They're a little fruity.
Yeah, that's why I chose the gay rights template, because they're fruity. Also, more proof that they're fruity. I'm just gonna let this sit for a moment.
Wow, that's like some
Whoa.
fan.
I had to make sure all of this was school appropriate. It is all school appropriate, but it's very uncomfortable.
Wait. Look up to you.
Yeah.
I looked it up. I had to look it up. I had to scroll through so much garbage. You don't even know what thing I
All
got
you
through.
need is love.
I can't look at it. Oh my
One
god.
of those is probably dead in film. Like,
Literally.
dead.
No, I
The
looked
yellow
up.
one?
I was on DeviantArt looking for Beatles fan art, and all of these were tagged like Beatles, Ringo, Paul, you know? And you can tell, like, you know, they got like Paul's nose shape, that's Paul and John, that's Paul and John, most of these are Paul and John, that's Ringo and George, that's Paul and John's baby, and Ringo and George.
Aw, they had kids.
Where am I?
Why?
Number one, Paul McCartney.
Who wakes up and is like, yeah.
Yeah, my
That makes
that
sense.
that
Beatles
here
fan
on
art, is that
Catwoman
crazy?
McCartney.
What?
Me
Who
free
wakes up and is like-
Monday. Guys, you have to sing with me. It's a fun day.
Oh my God.
Me free Monday.
Yeah.
And
Like,
it's
imagine
happening
being a person who
all
makes
around the
Beatles
world.
fan
I don't know.
Any fan
Tuesday,
art. Beatles gay.
Every time I listen to
Not
Mark
just
of
like
My Dear, it makes me
pictures
cry.
of
Because it's
Beatles
like,
just
you
like
listen to it at first and you're like, oh, there's a love song, this is for some girl, whatever.
Very,
And then you
very
learn it's about his dog and it changes the whole thing.
It's
And
so
it's
fruity.
like crazy. It literally makes me sob. I'm not even. That and the song that Michael Jackson sang when he was a kid about the rat, Ben. Those are the two songs that always make me cry because I love rats.
Right.
He never had a stable long-term marriage, but that's okay. Sometimes people just get divorced, you know?
Literally.
He doesn't have a questionable
Happens to
temper.
the best
He's
of us.
very nice. I would trust Paul McCartney with my life, okay? And I would not trust Ringo. Like beat his wife with a pipe. I would not trust him.
Oh,
Anyway,
boy.
How do you know that it was with
that's it.
Faith.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Gabby.